So that'll be coming up. We're going to wait a couple of months before we get into that, maybe July, August. We'll wait till we get closer to that, to November. But that'll be coming up, so hopefully you'll enjoy those conversations too and join us as well. If you want to go check out this magical show, remember we put all the shows up on our YouTube channel. The channel name, of course, is Real Family Talk. And all the shows that we've done thus far are up on the channel. So go over there, check out some of the archives of if this is your first time and not quite familiar with what we do. But for tonight, we're going to go ahead and jump in. I know I got a lot of people looking forward to tonight's topic. So I'm not going to waste time here and get on anything else. We'll jump right into the topic of the night, which is what we're going to do is discuss Think Like a Man. Think Like a Man is what we're going to do. For those that are not familiar with what that is a new movie out. It was actually #1 in the theaters now, 2 weeks in a row. So that's pretty cool. Made about, I think, a little over $60 million so far from what I heard. And considering apparently they made it somewhere in the $12 to $15 million range is all they spent to make the movie, to make $60 million in the first 2 weeks is pretty good there. Pretty good. Glad to see black film is succeeding. All right, so to the topic here. So Think Like a Man. The movie basically deals with relationships. It's based on Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And so in the film, they bring up a lot of the different characters or types of people anyway that he talks about in the book and, see how these people interact. It's a great film. If you haven't gone to see it yet, so go check it out. A lot of very funny. Kevin Hart is in the film, and he keeps the film moving with his comedic statement.
Made the movie. You have to give it to Kevin. Before the movie came out, you really didn't see much promotion from anybody else besides Kevin Hart. And then when I saw the movie, I saw why Kevin Hart was all over the promotions team, because he made the movie hilarious.
He did. Definitely.
It had a good message, and Kevin just made it
he got the name,
Yeah.
They got to go with the hot guy.
And really, Michael Ealy is the hot guy in my opinion. Yellow Team go. But Kevin Hart made the movie funny though.
Wow. Yellow Team go.
Yes, it's all about the yellow team. Chris Brown was also in the movie.
So we bringing back light-skinned guys?
Actually, Terrence Howard already brought us back, but Michael Ealy keeps us going. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Terrence Howard, if you're out there listening.
Okay.
Ask Kevin Hart who got the biggest check.
Right.
Probably with Steve Harvey, who might be on the yellow team also, but we won't induct him.
Oh my God.
As you see, it's already
it has begun.
It already has begun. So again, the concept of the movie, you got these different types of men. So kind of where I want to start is focus on one of these types of men that they brought up in the movie, and see what the panel thinks about him. So the first type of man I'm going to bring up here is the mama's boy. That's the one I found to be the most interesting to me, the mama's boy. And so this is that guy that loves his mama so much. Somehow his mama ends up in some way, shape, or form in everything he does. Okay? And so that's the mama's boy. So the first question is, does he really exist, or is this really an exaggeration of a type of man?
He does not. That is not an exaggeration at all. I know of some mama's boys. It was quite accurate.
Wow.
With some of the things, and then the issues he was having with his lady friend, those same type of issues, those are real. That is a real deal.
And I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, are there some dudes out there that love their mama? Of course.
Yeah.
But the idea that there's really a dude out there that would actually go on his Valentine's date and show up with his mama.
Exactly.
Really?
Now that's
Really?
That's an exaggeration.
He doesn't exist.
But when
he knows better.
when he's rearranging his schedules because his mama has an event that he has to take her to.
But that's respecting your mother, though. I mean, at the same time, I know a lot of women that will put the man second if they girls. You know, they'd be like, well, you know, I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday because I might have something to do with my girls or my friends.
Remember, you can join these conversations, 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. Sorry, Mr. King.
What was the number again? I'm sorry.
407-894-1680.
One more time.
407-894-1680.
But no, I mean, a lot of women do that, and then when the man does it, it's a problem. Like, a lot of women put their female friends before they will put a new guy in their life and be like, you know, I might be hanging out with my girls tonight. You know, I have to cancel with you. But it's his mom. Of course, he's going to put his mother before any other woman. Is that correct, Sister Phyllis?
There's a difference between your friends and your mother. In the situation with your friends, if you are new in a relationship, you don't necessarily trump every other relationship that you've had previously. So in that case, they are able to schedule with someone else, and I think that would be appropriate as long as they also make an attempt to try to spend that time with you. But in his case, everything trumps. Everything. Absolutely everything. And so she's invisible. She's there, but, you know, his girlfriend's there, but it doesn't really matter if, you know, mama loves you. Mama apparently didn't love her. But, you know, he just doesn't notice any
Mama
of that.
had the problem, to be honest with you.
Mama did have the
It was
problem.
really Mama
Mama
that
had
had
some
It
issues,
was.
but dude had a problem too.
Yeah.
You a grown man.
You respect your mother, though.
You a
know?
grown man.
That's not respecting your
Talking
mom.
about I stayed the night over my mama's house every Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, that is a
In
bit
the
excessive.
same room that it was when he was a little child.
Right,
That is an
right.
issue.
I think he
For
still
real,
had
dog.
Voltron posters
For
up on the
real, I
wall.
know. And they're playing with action figures in the bathtub. What you doing, dog?
Yeah, she was doing his laundry.
Right.
Like,
Cooking is.
I mean, but that was a good relationship.
Ain't
A lot
nothing wrong
of
with
people-
cooking dinner. Now, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Ain't nothing wrong. You got to eat.
and can't
You
nobody
gotta
cook
eat.
like Mama.
That's right. Now, I don't know if I would have stopped off at mama's house before we went out
Right.
to eat.
On your way to the strip club.
I don't know about that. but
Let's
you know.
stop by Mama house real quick. What?
She called, so we got to
You,
stop.
you don't want to drink on an empty stomach.
Yeah, he was definitely. I mean, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with loving mom, but certainly the character that they had in the film was certainly over the top with it. You know, but I just don't. I don't necessarily know that. I've never seen a dude that was so loved his mom that he was so over the top that he trumped everything that he did in life. I've never met that dude.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
haven't
so,
either, to be honest.
And so I just, you know, I guess Mr. Cray said she knows quite a few, but I've never met a dude that really trumped everything for his mom, his girl, you know, his boys. I ain't just never met that dude. I have a hard time catching on to believe a dude is really that bad. I mean, in terms of, you know, when you play percentages, you know, one out of a million, you know what I'm saying? Is that what we're talking about?
Right.
Because, I mean, come on, man.
It's
Come
not
on.
as common, but there
Come
are
on.
some out there
Come on.
for
And
sure.
and it can be subtle. It could be just comparisons. So, oh, you don't cook greens like my mama.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't, you know, do this like my mom. Oh, you know, my mom always did this before we did this. You know, so that can cause a problem too,
But
because
to
nobody is going to be your mama.
But to that extent, don't females do the same thing
Exactly.
with their daddy?
Uh-oh.
And look
You
for
know what
a
I'm
man
saying?
who is just like
So, I
their
mean,
daddy.
so to that extent, aren't we
My
the
daddy
same?
got up and went to work every day. Why you can't?
Yeah, and I hear you on that, but then it's a step further. You can hear about a lot of relationships that say they have issues when the mom steps over the boundaries in their relationship. When she has some type of control over what's going on in your relationship. You say, well, mama thinks we should. Hold on. This is you and me, not mama and you and me. So I think it's when it's like that. Now, yeah, we have comparisons. We want to try to look for that person that has some of the same qualities as our parents if we felt like they were good parents. But there's a line where you have to separate your parents, your mom, your dad, and realize who you are with, your man or your woman.
Okay. All right. Remember, 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. Does any of you guys have a particular character you wanted to bring up and discuss?
I won't say a particular character, but I will say I remember when the book first came out, and I did read the book, but it wasn't as profound to me as I guess he was trying to make it seem like. It was more of a joke. It was like, oh, let me see what is Steve Harvey going to tell me about finding a man? So it was more like, okay, I'm going to read this, but I didn't take it seriously, like word for word. This is my Bible. This is what I have to do to find me a man. And I think that's the disconnect there. If people use this only and look at the film only to try to find a mate, that's when you could probably get in some trouble. Because I think you need some common sense when you're dating people.
I was about to say that now. If y'all going to this movie,
yeah,
trying to look for some perspective, you got way bigger issues.
Yes.
This is Steve Harvey we talking about.
Right. If this
You know,
was
this
your
ain't
aha.
This ain't Dr. Phil. You know, at least he got a little bit of a license, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I go to Monica first. I don't know about the rest of them.
Right. Thank you, Jeremy.
I still ain't seen Dr. Phil accreditation.
You know his accreditation, Oprah.
Yeah.
That's all the accreditation you need right there, bro.
All they have to be is on
You just
TV
need to
and
be
whatnot.
affiliated with Oprah. That leads to success. Guaranteed. But anyway,
I wanted to talk about the youngest CEO, the women, because a lot of people looked at the men in the movie, but they didn't look at the roles of the women also. And I think that she was one of the roles that I think we've talked about a lot of times, where she doesn't want to not lower her standards, but understand that some males of color aren't on the same pedestal or aren't on the same level as her. She was played by
Taraji.
Yes, Taraji.
Henson.
Yes. Her role was very powerful in the movie, in my opinion, because of the decisions that she made with a man who wasn't on her level. And that's the role I actually want to bring up, because a lot of women are like that. They're making more money than the man, but their expectations are to be the same as what they have in life at the time. And that's really difficult to find. And then when she found somebody who had the same, the level of, when they was on the same level, she really was just unhappy. She found out she didn't want what she thought she wanted. And I think that's what happens with a lot of women, because most of them are confused and they really don't know what they want, as if she was, because she thought she knew what she wanted.
Hey, man.
But but no, she thought she knew what she wanted. But in the end, she really did not know what she wanted. She wanted the chef special in the end. And I thought that was a really powerful statement in the movie.
I don't think it's necessarily always true, though. Is there a successful man that you can find? Yes, there are successful men out there. Are you necessarily going to find, 18 of them lined up to be with you? Not necessarily. Sometimes a lot of them have gotten married and they're no longer available. But there are successful black men out there, and for you to say no, we should always just look for something that has potential but doesn't necessarily meet what we would like. I think that's a little unfair. Right. So you're kind of just saying that there's no hope for a successful woman to find someone that's even remotely close to what they worked so hard to achieve. We have to just go a little lower. We gotta settle.
Stick to potential.
and what I'm saying is, in her case, she went back to an ex, and my thing was, he was an ex for a reason. Why would you go backwards if you're trying to build a future? And that's why I kind of picked up on it. Like, okay, why would you go back to your ex who was already divorced and everything to that nature?
Oh, I see we have a caller. How you doing there, caller?
Hi, I'm doing very well. I hope you all are.
Oh, we are. Your name?
My name is Sandy.
All right, Sandy. And what's your comment tonight?
I was calling because just a second ago, the guy was saying, that talking about the CEO lady, that, women are confused.
Yes.
They don't really know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was kind of a general statement. So the man that said that, does he know exactly what he wants? And maybe he should share that with the audience.
Well, that's what Steve Harvey wrote the book for.
No.
I really don't have to go. Sandy, did you get the book,
Steve Harvey
Sandy?
didn't say.
You know what? I do have the book. I've had it for 2 years, and I never read it because I'm on a whole nother level of thinking, and I thought it was pure entertainment.
Thank you.
But since I saw the movie, I have started to read it this week, but it was kind of not really a page turner for me, so I'm only on chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Well, Sandy did have a question for you.
Well, most men know exactly what they want.
I think you were talking about you, though.
Do you?
Yeah, specifically.
Do they?
Sandy want to know about you.
Now the brother's gonna gang up on me.
I just want to know. Inquire mine.
It appears that you are also confused.
How does that
You know,
appear? Please let me know.
opinionated, so I just like to hear from you what you want as a man.
Yeah, I like older women that I can look to for teaching me and that can learn something from me at the same time. I know exactly what I want. But most women, they say they want a thug, and then they be like, well, I thought I wanted a thug, but now I want a man who's good for me. But, it's different. Most women,
I don't think that's a
difficult
woman
to understand.
Who are you meeting?
It's not a woman.
Who are these women?
That's a teenager
recently,
somewhere.
It
That's
was
not
recently
no
a young
woman.
lady who I was dating, 31 years old.
31
years old, but she knows what she wants, but she still wants her daddy, basically. And she came out and said that, I want somebody who is just like my daddy, even though my daddy has issues, because she's not a daddy's girl or whatever, but she's going through her own thing with men. And most women go through that phase where they want somebody who, can talk to me and be aggressive with me, but then they want somebody who's sensitive, but then they just, it's kind of difficult in my opinion. But yeah, I know exactly what I want, if that's what you're asking, Sister Sandy. I want somebody that I can learn from and at the same time still teach something to at the same time.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just guess if we're talking about a Christian woman and you want something and you want your relationship to be scripturally based, then you should be the priest, the provider, of your home, and you should be, teaching her. She should be able to help you, but there shouldn't be a whole lot that you should be learning from her. As far as the money standpoint goes, I would think that I wouldn't want to date a man who I made more than him, because if I decided we get married, we have a baby, whatever, and I don't want to work, I wouldn't want to feel like our lifestyle is based on my paycheck, and then I got to, lack because he's not making more money than I am.
Is that the Old Testament, the New Testament, or the Third Testament?
That's the third and the fourth
That
testament.
is
I don't
the
know
third
what
and the
testament
fourth
that
one.
was.
That is the third and the fourth one.
Yeah, the book of Sandy, verse 1.
Okay. I read the Quran.
Y'all know, I really enjoyed the show. I'm just messing with y'all, but this is very entertaining, and thank you for having this conversation.
No problem. Thank you for
Thanks,
calling us,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Y'all have a good night.
No problem. Thank you. And real quick, on our previous comment, we had a comment on Twitter, so I want to give a shout out to Lissy Montez. Lissy listens all the time. She usually tweets a lot, so shout out to Lizzie. Her comment,
Lizzie.
though, was that she don't see nothing wrong with loving your mommy and your poppy, and she will always be in the same house as her parents, Lizzie says. But
Until she's married.
Uh-oh.
nah, it sounds like even after she gets married. She be,
That's a whole nother problem.
And
we didn't have time to get in that one.
Is Lizzie,
could be a
she may
culture.
not be African American. She may
Right.
be of another culture, and that's their thing. They're really. I was watching a documentary. Well, Oprah just the other day, she took a trip to India and did a sit down with an Indian family, and the whole family lives together. Like if I married you, Mr. King, I would be living with you, your mama, your grandma, your uncles, everybody, and that's the norm. Like that's what they do. So I don't know who Lizzie.
I don't know. Judging from her Twitter picture, I would say she's probably Spanish.
She
or
probably
Hispanic
is.
or something to that nature.
might be cultural.
But and speaking on that, I have a friend of mine who's also Spanish. She's Puerto Rican, and pretty much she kind of feels that way. She basically stayed. Well, her and her dad kind of stay together at the moment, and even after she gets married, I'm pretty sure. If I know her like I think I know her, she's gonna be staying, or whomever she marries is gonna have to live with the fact that her dad is gonna be there too. So I mean, maybe it is cultural. Personally, I think unless that parent is in need of some kind of help in terms of physically they can't quite get it done, mentally they can't get it done. I think there needs to be a separation there. That's just my opinion.
That's culture though, because it's a lot of Mexican families that live together. They they go home, they go to work, they get some Coronas, and they go right back home, and they're back with their family. That's what a lot of Mexican people do.
Get some Corona.
Well, no, I used to work for a Labor Ready, and I would drive them around when I was working for Labor Ready, and I've seen this with my own eyes. Yes, they drink Coronas and Heinekens. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. King.
But I wanted to also comment on something that Sandy has said. Remember, you can call 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. That Sandy made a comment that she wouldn't want to date a man or marry a man that made less than her, and so which was another kind of theme that was kind of brought up in the film, and in his book. But my question is, why not? Why do I need to make more than you? You know what I mean? And why is that somehow make me less than what you are? You know what I mean? Number one, if you're working and I'm working and we're both accomplishing whatever it is that we want to do, you know what I mean, and we're happy, why does who makes more even come into play? Because certainly if I made more, you don't go, well, I don't want to, I make, $50,000 less than he does. I feel, less than a whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I make $50,000 less. The woman doesn't go that route.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She gets happy because he makes more.
She said she might want to stop working one day, and that was her thing.
Well,
Yes,
then
Sandy.
that's called savings, right? So you save up and then you plan to be so that you don't have to work for however extended period of time that you didn't want to work. Isn't that what people do? Because if you're living in a two-income household, if he loses his job, then it's probably going to be a problem as well, is it not?
No, and here's why. I think for women, we look at the man as a provider. So a leader of the household, and that means leading me spiritually, leading us financially, emotionally. I'm looking to you to lead. So
I can do all those things without making more money than you.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I can lead you financially without making more money than you.
No, you can't.
Oh, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
No, I don't mean I'm telling you what to do. I'm just saying I can lead us to where the finances would be best kept.
Okay.
Which is in my bank account.
See, I can't take it.
But go ahead, finish your comment.
But we're looking to you as a provider. So if it's okay if I don't make as much because you are the man, you are the leader, you are the head. So that's where we find that we're looking for that in a man, and we're not uncomfortable. That's where we get uncomfortable if the man does not make as much as we do. Because somehow it just messes up the balance of it all. You can still lead, but then when it comes to finances, when it comes to making household decisions, we're doing this with the money that's coming off of my back. We have a caller, do we? All right.
I guess we do have a caller.
Hey.
Caller, how you doing, caller?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing pretty good. And your name tonight?
Carolyn.
Carolyn? All right, Carolyn.
Yeah.
What's your comment tonight?
Well, you were asking about the young lady as far as having a job is what you all were just talking about. And I get what she's saying, but at the same time, you can miss out on a good man just because he's not making more money than you, if that's what you're waiting on, because it's a lot of other things that he can probably bring to the table that can very much so help.
That is so true. You don't want to miss out on your blessing because you're looking for a man that's making more
financial
money.
provider.
Right. Now, most likely Sandy is married. We're just going to say Sandy is married, and she's already found that, and that's why in the book of Sandy 101 that...
I don't think she is married.
I don't know. Sandy, call back and let us know if you're single. But I'm going to go by Sandy is single in the book of 101, and that's why she made that comment.
But
Thank you, Carolyn, for your comment, too.
Thank you. I could see why she says that. Let's say you want to go on maternity leave and you make significantly more than your spouse. Then there's going to be some question as to, well, am I going to have to, if, let's say I want to take off for, 2 or 3 years just to spend that time to take care of my child, or our child. There will be some...
You said exactly what you meant to say.
No,
407-894-1680.
that's my baby. The one that I delivered. So there is some degree. You can save, but to some degree things happen. And so do I really have to save up to 4 to 5 or 6 years just because you don't necessarily make that much money? I'm not saying you have to make more, but you need to have the potential to be able to come up to the income level that we were used to living if I decide that I'm not going to be able to work and I'm going to spend this time taking care of the children or the household or the family, whatever the case may be.
But what does that mean? What if you meet me and I'm the shift manager at McDonald's and I've been progressing at McDonald's, but I got to wait for a few managers to slide over here, slide over there before I get to the management? You know, that might take 10 years. I mean, I don't know. I'm still a diligent worker. So I mean, how do I have that control that I'm gonna get to your level?
But even beyond that, again, if the situation is reversed, nobody has these issues
At all.
and
No, we don't.
and they're the same issue, because again, how are we going to be in a relationship where we are sharing and caring and yada yada yada, but when it comes to the finances, there's no we can't share that. Wait a minute, that's not something we share. That's something that you provide. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? So do you love me, or do you love me because I make more than you? No. I mean, what is...
I can't pay
what
your
is the
car
answer
insurance
to that
every other
question?
month.
It's not even about that.
What is that
It's
question?
security. Women look for security.
So
And we
do
don't want to
men.
have to worry about,
So do
I
men.
got to go to work the moment that, I have a child because he doesn't make
but
enough money
again-
to make the mortgage.
but again-
Or
but
I have
again-
to go back to work right away because
But again,
he
it's
doesn't-
called...
he's
hold
always
on.
concerned about this. Or
Now, hold
I
on.
have to worry about this.
It's
I can't
savings.
spend time.
It's all about planning. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's
If
true.
we're gonna be in a relationship together, we supposed to plan for whatever it is that we about to experience,
We
and then so we
supposed to plan.
exactly.
But if you don't plan, that's your fault.
That's exactly.
How many couples
Is it
today
really
really
just her
plan?
That is
for
the
children?
couple.
But that's their fault.
Yeah, whose fault is that? Is it the fault? It's the couple's fault. Because if you know, again, we're supposed to be responsible adults.
But if he
You
doesn't
You know what
make
I'm
very
saying?
much,
So
then he's
because we're
probably not gonna
irresponsible
save very
adults,
much.
you need
So
to make
that's
sure
where
I
you
make
come
more
in
than
and
you
start
because I know
saving.
I'm going to be irresponsible.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that what we're trying to say?
I think that's what they're saying.
Basically.
No.
I know I'm going to be irresponsible at some point in my life, so I want to make sure that you make way more than I do, so that when I'm irresponsible, you can take care of me.
And that's
No.
what that's what a
Let's just
security
plan.
blanket
that's
comes
not
into
it.
play.
Let's
That's
just
not
plan.
it.
That's security.
See, I don't know. They should
No.
have that daddy's girl thing on the movie. I don't know. Is that what we talking about here?
Basically.
No, it's a matter of knowing that you can provide with or without my income. Knowing that you can take care of things and you can take care of our family with or without me.
So that's the
And
same
so
thing.
Hold on,
if
hold on,
you,
hold on.
but
I'm gonna
it's
hit you up
not
from the
in
left field here.
this day and age.
I'm gonna hit you from
not
the left field.
necessarily true.
Hold on one second. I'm going to hit
That-
you with left field here, right? All right. So I think it was Sandy brought up scripture on us, right? So let's say, right, you're a Christian, so you're praying for God to send you your mate. So God sends you your mate, but God sends you that dude that makes $30,000 less than you do. So that dude ain't right so God obviously made a mistake. Because
I didn't say that.
He made 30,000-60,000 less than you. I mean, or wait a minute. Well, God, I can't have him because he don't make enough.
I didn't say that
Let's
you
ask
push him.
Sandy. Let's ask Sandy.
I didn't say you push him away. Go ahead, Sandy.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
This is Sandy again. Listen. So would you be opposed to when you have the relationship in the beginning and you say, okay, we're going to get married, we're going to start a family together. How about you just start the household on just the man's income that way and just bank the woman's income, and then that way if she does decide she doesn't want to go back to work after she has a child, then it's not a strain on the household. What do you think about that?
Well, that's called planning. That's my point. You plan. When you plan, then these issues don't come up. It's called planning.
Are you married, Sandy?
Right, but so, not yet. Why? Are you single?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good.
No, I'm just-
We'll talk after the show.
Oh, shoot. You can learn a little something from her.
I can teach you something too. Teach you how to
I
plan.
think you really should. You should plan, and that is part of planning. But I don't think that it's a negative that the woman should want for the male to be able to provide for her, because that's what we're trained, and it's kind of a double standard because the men, they want you to be, it's kind of like some men want a roommate. It's like you want to go half on everything. Well, I wasn't raised that way. I was raised with somebody providing. I saw my father provide for my mother. So I don't feel like, I can go halves with my homegirl. We can be roommates.
Thank you, Sandy.
But Sandy, what what
Thank you.
if God forbid something goes wrong with your husband? I have a friend of mine whose husband, their fiance right now, is in a wheelchair. And say something happens to that nature where now he has to depend on you and his income isn't the same as it used to be. Now what? Oh, he's just going to leave you because
Then
you
you
wasn't
do
making
what
enough
you
money.
gotta do.
That's different.
That's not a problem. I'm an educated black woman. I have earning potential. What I'm saying is, if something like that happens, then I'm going to slide into place and do what I need to do because I make vows as well.
Right.
But what I'm saying is in the foundation of the relationship, we should feel secure with your ability to be a financial provider for us. I don't think there's a problem.
And the man
with that.
shouldn't,
I don't
though.
think it's gold digging or anything like that.
But the man shouldn't feel secure with your income, right?
Well, I think you should have an equal earning potential. That's what I'm saying.
But earlier you said that the man need to be making more money than you, and if you make more money than him,
and I stand with that. He should be making more. I think he should be making more.
but you just said an equal.
I said you should have equal earning potential. If I have a master's degree, you have a master's degree. Even though males, traditionally make more, I would still have equal earning potential other than the fact that I'm a female and the employer may not pay me as much. So what I'm saying is if you get hurt and you're in a wheelchair or do whatever, I still will have the ability to go out and work, but that will be up until something happens, that will be a choice for me. That's what I'm saying. And I think if you start the relationship like that, then it's not an issue if the female has to stop working or chooses to stop working.
I'm not for sure about this.
On that money anyway, you bank that money.
I'm kind of guessing that in the year 2012, more women of color are making more money than men of color in the year 2012.
Which is the problem.
Why is that the problem? We don't do that.
Even if you look on
society does that. Society creates the woman to be the man. That's why they take the head. That's why they put them in jail. They kick them out of school. They try to take the head before they can get to the body.
Well,
but
they
that's
don't
society.
put them in jail. They put themselves in jail.
But the issue is, outside of all that, we are here right now, and that is the truth. So it's not like we can change that overnight. Most of y'all looking to get married in the next 4 or 5 years. I'm sorry, but the statistics not finna flip that fast.
And
so
the
y'all
way you were
raised,
your parents were raised in a completely different society than what you're living in to this day. Your parents were probably raised on the Old and New Testament. Of course, like you say, you're raised on the Sandy Testament. So things have really changed from where your parents were at to where you're at now. And I'll guarantee you they will change again from where your kids are at to where you're at now. So really, you have to adapt with the times.
And thank you for calling again, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
Text me.
I think the point is it's not a black and white situation. I am not going to say how much do you make, and if you don't make enough, I'm going to walk away.
Right.
But the point is that's what we look for. We strive to have someone who can provide and has the same earning potential or income potential that we do so that we can have a better lifestyle than where we are at now. Why am I going to go and marry somebody that makes less than me to live almost the same as I do now? What am I getting married for then?
Because you're getting married for love. You're not getting married for the material. Like Jimmy, like Brother Real say,
material.
If God put this man in your life,
get married to live under. You don't want to
and
get married.
And that's why the divorce rate is so high in 2012.
Oh, okay. We got another caller. How you doing tonight, caller? What's your name?
I am fine. I am Catherine.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Sister Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
I'm sorry for the women, but I'm going to have to take the men's side on this one because...
Speak on it.
Speak, girl.
I hear people saying, why would they marry someone with making less money than them? And I see people who have the most money and their husband making the most money, but they're the most miserable.
Yes.
So does it matter how much money he's making? How about love? That's why women ain't got men now. They're too concerned about what's in the guy's pocket.
What's in the pocket?
Desperate single women walking around here.
What is in your wallet?
And that came from a woman.
That's what I'm saying.
And that was the whole point.
Thank you, Catherine.
I don't know who your husband is,
but he's a lucky man.
He must be a good man.
He's a lucky man.
He must be lucky.
But see, and that was the point of me bringing up the part of Taraji because that was her problem. She was looking for a man who was at the same level as her, and you see, at the end of the movie, she found out that is not what I wanted because I had a mom that went through the same thing, had a man who was a good man making all this money, but behind closed doors, it was so much inner turmoil, even though they had a great life, had all the money, had the biggest cars, the nice house on the hill, but behind those closed doors, it was so much more turmoil because the love and the money are two different things. And what you're saying, I'm not done. What you're saying about the lifestyle,
I know you're not done, but I understand what what you said.
What I was saying, you were saying the lifestyle is having to change. It's like, but that's not love. That's the lifestyle.
But a lot of people get married off of love, and then next year they get divorced because love has somewhere disappeared, and they don't know what happened. Why? Because he didn't do what he said he was going to do. She didn't do what she said she was going to do. They decided to, oh, well, this isn't really what I thought I wanted, and so then they end up divorced. So I'm not saying choose money over love. I'm not saying choose money over love. I'm just saying if this is what you are looking for, it's not a a means to all. I'm not saying look at the money and then, oh, if he don't have it, then he's not what you need. Or if God sent him, oh, well, God, you must have made a mistake. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying women that are successful look for someone who is fairly equally yoked to them. They're not going to look for someone way down below where they are. And I don't think it's fair to say that you should do that.
I got to comment that. And here's my point. My point is, men look for the same things. They don't want a woman that is, far below them either for the most part.
Right.
So we can respect that. The issue that we had was the statement and it what seemed like a fact more than an opinion, is that the idea that just because he makes less than me, he is somehow unfit to be a candidate in my life. That was the statement that we took issue with. Everybody wants to find somebody that is about the same level they are, regardless if you're a man or a woman. That makes sense. But to simply disqualify someone simply because they don't have as much as you have, I think is the issue that, or at least for me, that's the statement that I take issue with, because I think you could be missing out on something like using the movie as an example. The woman in the movie missed out on something that could have been very great in her life simply because she puts them aside simply because he didn't have what she had. And again, it takes time. Success will come for people who strive for success. And so at the end of the day, that should be the goal, is to find someone that has the same goals. And so maybe you've already had your success. Maybe his success is 5 years from now, but now you're going to throw him to the side because he's 5 years away from his success and you're already there. That becomes the question of simply disqualifying someone based on income alone. And which is what the statement that was made, the statement that you argued, and that's the statement that I take issue with.
Yeah. Well, I didn't argue that you should disqualify. I said that. Yeah. Didn't I say that, Phyllis? I said that it's something that you want to look for. Right. You want to look for that. But if they don't have it, and they have potential like the dreamer, I wouldn't have a problem being with the dreamer if the dreamer accomplished the goal. Right. If he's just steady dreaming and doing nothing with the dreams, he got to go. Because I don't have time to take care of a man that just wants to play.
But at the same time, the dreamer had to have a woman behind him, like most men do. And that is the truth about most men. I did respect that.
That little kick.
That little kick. That woman that's going to be, you know what, get off your tail. If you really want me, get off your tail and make your dream come true. And that's what ended up happening with the dreamer, which was Taraji's man. And, then that's how most men are. They ain't going to do nothing because most men don't get no good car. They don't look good. They don't have no nice nothing. But that's what a woman wants. They man to have, so that's what the man goes and get. Don't no man want no bling bling, no big fancy car, but that's what a woman expects the man to have. So that's what the man goes out and get to impress the other woman. Again, 407-894-1688.
It's about the potential. I think, and just like Sandy, I'm a supporter of Sandy. I got you.
Now you're back supporting
Sandy. But there's a portion of what Sandy said.
That's what I wanted to know.
There's a portion of what Sandy said that is valid.
I support Catherine too. Catherine, we love you wherever you are, Catherine.
And
we love you.
I think we're being real general. I don't know of many women who would just right off the bat say, "Oh no, you don't make no money for me."
I do.
And that's unfortunate.
I mean, just like the mama's boys, a couple of those, and that's very unfortunate.
Right.
We know a lot of women who, you the manager at McDonald's, you need to get out my face.
Well, it depends on where she is though, and then you have to look at the whole picture of this person. Like we're talking about not just finances, how you treat me, how you make me feel. All these things come into play. And then if your finances fall short, but everything else falls into place, then guess what? You're going to be my guy. Sort of like with Taraji. She ended up being with him. But if you broke and you don't have no ambition,
trifling.
you trifling, and you treat me bad, and
you think I should
But
just settle
see,
because you a man and you available?
Here's my comment on that, though. Here's my comment on that. You're right. If all of the other things are bad, well, then that's just a bad man, and it has nothing to do with how much money he makes.
Exactly.
So we're not talking about that dude
at all,
because that dude, even beyond what he has financially, you know what I'm saying? Even if he was great financially, he still would be a bad man, even though he had all the money. So that's not the issue. We're not talking about that dude.
We're not.
That's not the dude that we're talking about because he's already a loser.
We're
talking about a dude that made less than you.
That's what we talking
that
about.
was a good man. That's what we talking about.
Yes.
How much less? Because that again talks
there we
about.
go.
It doesn't matter.
I couldn't be with a guy at McDonald's because you know why? Right there, that's some type of ambition has been lost.
I'm talking about the dude that made $8 an hour.
But this is what we're talking about.
When you were CEO, that's not what we're talking about.
This is what women.
I'm not talking about that dude.
That's what women are talking about.
I'm talking about the CEO and the dude that's been working for
the dreamer,
the UPS driver. UPS drivers probably make about $50,000 on the top end. You know what I'm saying? That's the dude I'm talking about.
No, we're not
but
talking
you
about
the
that.
CEO
We're
that make
talking
$1 million.
about the Subway sandwich maker
Well,
and
that's fine,
the
though.
CEO. That's just not going to work.
That's not going to
But you don't know how good I make sandwiches, though.
No.
Exactly.
No.
He could be in college, you know, because most people at Subway, they're working as a sandwich artist and they're going through
scenario.
school.
If he's going to school,
But that's the
and let's say
dreamer.
he aspires to become a lawyer, and he is close to going to graduate school, law school, then,
he is in law school.
Perhaps
he's in his first year.
He's his first year, then
undergrad.
No, absolutely not.
And he's 35? I don't think so.
Yeah, baby, I'm trying to be, you know.
And we're not saying your circumstance.
Every night.
You don't have to worry about it. You don't feel.
Hey, we're not saying your circumstance would put you in that
Jared
situation.
told you Subway help you lose weight, and I know women like to lose weight.
Exactly. So let's eat fresh.
I got another caller. Caller, how you doing tonight?
I can't take it.
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And your name?
LaTanya.
Oh, how you doing, LaTanya? What's your comment tonight?
I'm doing quite well. I've been listening very intensely to the conversation tonight, and I just want to say one thing about that we all need to remember that there are some good men out there who may be on hard times.
Mm-hmm.
If a man loves his mom, there's a greater chance that he will respect you.
Yes.
And if he's hard and afraid to show his emotion, 9 times out of 10, he has some kind of hidden issues with abuse. And I can say that because I've experienced that before. So before I learned to close the chapter on a guy by face value, try to know his heart first, and then get to the value of that person. And I'm one of those persons. I understand that there are some bad men out there, just as there are some bad women out there. But on the same token, we each have to look at each other and see our value inwardly and not just look at what they can provide outwardly.
Thank you. I respect that comment right there.
Yes.
We thank you, LaTanya, for calling in the show there.
I think the movie made some really good points, though. Overall, when we talk about just the film, we could talk about this back and forth all day. But when you talk about the film, how it was made, if you notice, they were all professionals. Everybody was doing something professional, something different from what we see usually with African Americans and the images that are placed on screen. And those are some of the things that I pulled away from. I just was very proud of how they handled the film. It's not really a how-to guide. Don't go in there thinking that, oh, this is what it takes to get this made. I don't think. But the actors, the way it was written, the way it was shot, and then just the professionalism of all the characters. I just loved it. Because how often do we see, across the board, all of them had professional careers.
Except the dreamer.
Well, even still, he was...
But a caterer is still
right, he was a caterer, he was a chef, he was an aspiring chef, and then he ended up having his own food truck and everything.
I'd like to bring up the character of Wendy Williams. the woman that abused her man. I would like to talk about that character because there are some women out there that are abusing their man, and he has to lie and say he fell down the steps. Would any of y'all women like to comment on beating y'all men?
There are some women. I do not beat my man.
No, absolutely not.
And neither does he doesn't beat me either. And unfortunately, there are issues of domestic abuse on both sides. You are true. You are correct.
There is a very large statistic. I don't know it right off the top of my head of domestic violence from female to male, and a lot of times there's a lot of stigma and kind of shamefulness about it because men don't want anybody else to know that their woman is beating up on them.
If I was 5'3", and I was dating Wendy Williams, who is about 6'4", something like that. At least. I'm not too sure about Wendy. I'm not going to comment and keep my personal comments to myself. But I don't think I would be in that relationship anyway. But obviously it was some love there because he missed her in the end. And that's a real man to admit that he was wrong and called his woman back in the bathroom and apologized and said, I want to come home. That is a real man because that's what most men do. They talk that hard game about, we ain't doing this and we ain't doing that. But in the end, they realized what they really had, just like everybody did, realized what they really was missing and went back to the person that they loved.
Yeah, that was good. I also want to point out something when you're talking about domestic abuse. With men, sometimes it's easy to be turned that they are the aggressor. Looking at the Deion Sanders situation, he called the cops because his wife and her girlfriend was over there beating on him. So, and then if he would have swung back, then he would have been right. So he calls the cops, which was very smart to do. Get out the house. I think he made video or something to make sure that they knew what was going on. Because
he probably has video in his house already.
But they could have easily turned that around, and then Deion would have been the one.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking like he was the aggressor.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, if the police, law enforcement shows up, the male is going to jail.
Right.
And so it's just, people just use that stereotype that the man is always the aggressor when that's not necessarily the case.
Not at all.
Now, in this case of Kevin Hart being in that marital situation, and if it was truly abusive, then I don't necessarily agree that he should have gone back.
She was certainly more aggressive.
She was aggressive
and controlling.
If he had lumps,
there was an undertone,
and he had to lie and say he fell down the steps, that's abuse.
It is abuse.
That is, and 9 times out of 10, when it's abusive with a man and a female, again, most men that I know of, they're not just going to hit a woman unless the woman provokes. So that's just my opinion on that also.
And it can be very dangerous.
That is a whole
It is another show. But you just have to be careful about abuse.
Definitely, especially when it's the woman. Because like you said, it'll be the man's fault quick. I'm telling you, man. Like you say with Deion Sanders, all he had to do was just yell.
They start hitting you, just run.
Right.
Just call and run and get your cell phone.
For real, I'm just
run away.
Turn the camcorder on your phone on and run. Yeah. Say she tripping.
It's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. If you are, however, in abuse, you definitely, it's not recommended for you to return to that situation in any means.
But if you are in abuse, you can call in at 407-894-1680 and talk to us about it, definitely.
So that there are safe homes of which you can contact if you do find yourself in a abusive situation.
Please
you can
call a safe home.
The Coveted House or
the show
other locations.
We certainly can give out phone numbers.
Yes, and we can get you in contact with the appropriate organizations, and we will definitely pray for you.
We will pray for you, definitely.
What about the character, the player character? What was your what did you take away?
Well, you could tell.
I thought he was very intelligent. I thought he was a good planner.
He couldn't sing though.
He was
that brother could not sing.
He was a good planner. He was intelligent. He thought about what he did. Had a lot of forethought. I think those are good qualities you should look for when you're looking for a mate.
I think when I saw that character, I think one of the things that made his ability to see multiple women at the same time was his communication and social skills. He was able to break down the barrier of the angry black woman, that he tends to always come across.
Which is needed to be successful in life anyway.
It is a positive characteristic.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
And
it is.
so it
And he
allowed
used it- and he
him
used
to
it for
break that
good.
barrier and to see those women. He used it for his personal.
No, he used it for good in
gratification.
general. You know. You do what you have to do.
Just a
But
vibe.
but
Well,
but
why is that
I think-
acceptable,
I think that he
Jeremy?
was hurt.
Why is
he
that
was
okay?
It's okay for him.
That men can use a characteristic such as that
Mm-hmm.
to gain gratification for themselves.
Yes.
Why is that okay?
Why is
'Cause
it?
you
I
seem
think
like
a
that
better
was
question.
acceptable.
I think a better question is why is it not okay? I mean, everybody got to live your own life. If that's
But
what
you
makes
just
you
said
happy.
that was all right.
Oh yeah, it is. If that's what makes you happy.
Wait, for him to be a player?
For him,
No, we're not talking about him being a player.
Oh.
for
We're
him
talking
to
about
use his
using
social skills.
using his social skills to get
to-
what he wanted.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that.
There's
I
nothing wrong
think
with that.
If you have the gift of the gab, you just
You use it.
you're-
Yeah.
And I'm sure that
Yeah.
helped him in his professional life,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
it just
I see.
carried over to his personal life.
Right.
But
And he
it
used it to his
boiled down to
advantage.
him. He had been hurt in the past.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It was
And
his
it was
wall,
hard for him
really.
to trust. Right.
It was his wall, is
and
what
and
it
that
was.
and that was true. I ain't gonna say with most men, but some men they get hurt in the past, and that's what builds up that wall. They try to keep everybody back.
You can go ahead and say most.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
very
you-
typical.
you-
I
But
don't
let
like
me
to
say-
say that
but let me
because
say
when,
this,
because
too.
when you
I
say
don't have a
most
problem-
women, they get
You
mad.
seem
But
to
you
use
say
most.
most women all the
Because-
time.
I think I
because
heard
women
most
say
about
most
5
men.
times today.
Right. I believe
I'm gonna
every
say this, too,
show
though.
we've had, he said
Most
most women.
or all.
I like to say
All.
all.
All y'all.
I prefer to say all because it is all y'all.
so.
but
Right.
It is. They all crazy.
But a
They
lot-
all
a lot
crazy.
They
of
all
times-
are crazy. They all crazy. They all
y'all
crazy
are
and
crazy.
confused.
Y'all are crazy and confused.
Hey, but let me say this: if there's a woman and she was doing the same thing, I
would
wouldn't have
be
a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with that either.
No.
I have no. If you, whatever you do, if you can get up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, and smile and be okay,
Then you supposed
do
to be
you?
okay.
Do you?
Do you?
But it's all
Exactly.
about you. If you were happy with that, can live with that, then that's fine. Now at the end of the day, I'm not saying he wasn't happy with it. He just happened to fall into somebody he ended up falling in love with. So it you know.
Or he ended up falling just for. Well, he ended up finding someone who
Right.
can break down those
Yeah,
walls.
through
Right,
that
break
through
down
that
his
process.
walls. Right.
So
Because
that
she
was the
was able-
process he had to go through to find his good woman.
Right. She
See,
challenged him.
Exactly.
in
So
a way.
Exactly.
now can you
Exactly.
say is anything wrong with that?
I think what he did and the ability for him to open back up, it was absolutely fine. And you know, I'm happy for him that he was able to break down that barrier and to see that every woman is not like whoever this woman was that broke his heart. I think a lot of people,
Well,
and you have even mentioned Micah, in situations of women that you've met where they have these issues. They all crazy.
Tell them to play track
And
7.
a lot of it is because Mr. King, I'm so very sorry.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
That that they have these issues, and you tend to run into these women with these issues because of these previous relationships. So, I guess being that you all agree that maybe we all need to find those positive characteristics to help break down those barriers of those women that are just crazy and
that's
have issues.
That's what the Subway man.
Okay.
That's what his.
That's what I'm saying.
can't.
Hey,
The brother from Subway
you
has
know
a lot of
what?
social skills for making
Exactly.
sandwiches.
But when it
I gotta
comes,
talk and put lettuce on. Everybody can't do
That's a
that.
hard thing to do, brother.
Everybody can't do
You
it.
gotta remember, you like lettuce, tomatoes,
What you
oh
got?
my God.
bell
I
peppers.
want
all-
mustard on just one half.
Exactly. That's hard to do. And then I got to talk to you. And
And I
got
gotta smile at the same time.
y'all, but when you think about that, on both sides, men and women, we do tend to bring that other person into our current relationship when we're trying to find them. So you kind of have to look at the person that you're with with clean eyes as possible. If you've been hurt, if he reminds you of something else, even if a woman reminds you of somebody else, you must try to find that individual in them, and then just go ahead from there. Because if that's the case, we all gonna be some single, lonely people. Because everybody has had some issues or some baggage. So for him to allow Megan Good's character to, after she challenged him to bring that out, and ultimately he found out that, okay, I do care. Again, I can let myself. He thought it was a joke, the 90-day rule. He was like, what? Why am I waiting 90 days? When he can get it from any other woman, yet he did it. Because she challenged him, she stuck to her rules, her goals, and they just progressed as a couple naturally, I think. And I really enjoyed their relationship on screen. That was pretty. It was funny. And it made me think about, is the 90-day rule ridiculous? to you guys?
Yes, it is.
Oh, really? Why?
Because a man knows whether he wants you or not, regardless if he has sex or not.
Let me say this is why the 90-day rule is ridiculous. Because while he's waiting for you for 90 days.
Exactly. Preach a word, brother.
If he really is just trying to grant gratification, those other 5 women he was juggling around, he going to see them on day 3,
and
5, 7,
the movie
9,
didn't put that in there.
11, 13, 15. He's still seeing them. Now, you think he'd be this good man, but actually all he's doing is being patient.
And
he's just waiting you out.
He's just waiting.
And at the end of the day, that's really all he was doing. He just happened to fall in love.
Because I'm pretty sure the movie didn't show that he just cut off all the other women that he was talking to.
They didn't want to really, they're going to be the movie going to be 2 hours.
That's it.
Right,
so they couldn't go into that dynamic.
To real life.
Because a real man going to be like, well, I'll wait on you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anyone's going to tell you, hey, Mr. King, when we're dating, we're going to wait 90 days before we do. Yeah, I don't think that's going to come in conversation.
He didn't find out until he read the book.
Right. But let's get over the book. We're not going to go by that book for real.
But
the movie is about the book.
No. I'm talking about if we were in a real relationship, you would not be reading this book. We would not be following our relationship based on this book.
Right.
So if you and I are dating, I would not say, hey, Mr. King, we're going to wait 90 days.
Right.
And
if you're smart, you're not.
I have had women that do that.
But it's just going to be us going through our natural progression of a relationship. If it just happens to be that long that we have not had intercourse, then
that's us and not the other person that I'm talking to.
Why is it as Christian individuals
Amen.
that the 90-day rule is even
it shouldn't even
be there. It should be a given that it ain't gonna happen.
Well, let's be honest.
So
I mean that's how
Christian is what we are. It's not what we do for a lot of people these days. So that's why you even discuss the 90-day rule. But talking about that, there really doesn't need to be a rule per se. What I think there needs to be is you need to figure out if this is somebody that this is the place that you want to, go in a relationship with, if that's what you do, you can choose to not to and, be abstinent until you marry. That's one choice. But if the choice is that I want to, then there doesn't need to be a rule per se. There just needs to be a decision on your part that this is somebody I want to express that with. So if you figure that out in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, that's just what it is, but there doesn't need to be a rule, because even after 90 days, you might find that he still hasn't come quite where you think he should be to deserve to now to go to that next level. So the days are really just a concept really of waiting until he is somebody that you want to go there with. It's not necessarily about a 90-day rule, because it may take 6 months to figure that out. So forget 90 days, we had 180 days now. And so that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about some specific number. And I know we're closing down the show, or getting ready to anyway. Time is running out on us. But the point I think that you take away from all of this is to make sure that in anything you do, that's man or woman, you should be thinking ahead and thinking about what you want out of it, rather than looking for the time and the place and the gratification of that moment that you meet. And I think that's the point that Steve Harvey's trying to bring across. Certainly the point that the movie's trying to bring across is know what you want as an individual, and then know what also, and not only know what you want, but know what you can or are willing to sacrifice, you know what I mean, in terms of not sacrifice in terms of making you happy, but willing to kind of work through, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to have their problems. And then some problems you're going to want to deal with, other problems you're not. So know what the problems are, and figure out if that's what you can deal with, and then think about it before you jump head in, from day 2, because, he took you out to the fancy restaurant, at Lake Eola. You know what I'm saying? And so now he's got to be the one, because ain't nobody ever did that before. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? He needs to prove himself a little bit further than, taking you out and impressing you.
Right.
And so again, whether that's 90, 180, you know what I'm saying, 365, whatever it is.
Or wait until you're married.
Or wait until you're married, exactly. Yes. Whatever it is for you, that's what you have to remember. I see we're winding down here, so I'm going to leave some closing thoughts on the show here. Miss Monica?
I definitely, although we did talk about certain things and our views or our thoughts on it, I do stand with, you want to look for qualities that you're looking for in a mate so that you can have things that you are looking for, so you don't end up like Mr. King of what he said, confused. However, it is not a definite checklist. You shouldn't live your life or live your relationships through checklists. Everyone's not going to meet every single quality that you're looking for. So there are some things that you're going to have to, give and take. So just keep that in mind and seek the Lord in everything you do.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to come from a perspective of just the film. I just want more films featuring African Americans, more positive films like these that can continue to be successful and just show Hollywood that we do come out. And then this audience was diverse. When I was in the theater, it was all types of people in there. Mm-hmm. So letting them know that African American themed films can work, can make money, can be positive. Other than Tyler Perry films, we can do this.
Yeah, because I don't support Tyler. But I also want to say
don't be
that
a hater.
Wow. I don't. I mean, I'm going to get on Tyler Perry.
That's a whole other
45
because I don't support Medea. But I just want to say that love is not about finding the right person, but yet creating the right relationship. Micah King.
All right, real quick, I just want to say my only thing about the movie. I wish there was that Subway guy in there. Oh. I think it was just too convenient that everybody was out of college doing good. That's not necessarily everybody's reality. But other than that, I'm good.
Vote Obama.
That's the reality they needed to show, though, because we always get the other part of the reality of black people. That's the part of black folks that we needed to see. We needed to see the Cosbys again, and because there are people that are like the Cosbys, that are like Different World. And I can go on and on.
Yeah, remember,
good night, y'all.
Check us out on YouTube. The channel's called Real Family Talk. Hit us up on Twitter, Real Family Talk. If you ever got an email, you got something you want to say, you want to email it to us, remember the email is also realfamilytalk at gmail.com. Thanks for listening. As always, we will see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. This is your host, Jay Ray.
WOKB Winter